Okay, that's right, Nick Dutch here yet again. Just want to have a quick ramble today about the idea of belief. Remember, this is just a ramble. It's completely and utterly unscripted in any possible way. And I'm just going to pull a few ideas out of my head and try and relate back to it. I've got in my hand a copy of the New Testament, okay? New Testament and Psalms, one of those things that is forced into our pockets when we're actually in school in the first year of secondary school here in the United Kingdom. And it's the very same one that I was given when I was a little schoolboy. Some people say, I believe in the Bible. What does that mean? Does it mean that they believe that the book actually exists? Possibly, possibly not. Does it mean that they believe that the words here are important? Possibly, possibly not. Do they mean that these words are inspired by God? Possibly, possibly not. Do they mean that these words are actually written by God? Well, possibly and possibly not. The bottom line is, the moment someone says, I believe in the Bible, basically that is a completely and utterly meaningless phrase. Either that or it has too many meanings to actually be considered to be useful. A person could always say that they believe in the Bible being purely something which has some variety of cultural significance. Now, let's think about the concept of Jesus Christ, okay? When someone says, I believe in Jesus Christ, do they mean they believe in a man on a stick? Do they mean that they believe that there was an individual who actually existed historically and said some interesting stuff? Do they mean that some of the things that this person said has some kinds of cultural benefit or merits to them? Basically, that'll have to be up to you to decide. Either way, we don't know what the person means. Does the person actually mean that they think that this individual called Jesus Christ actually existed and is in fact the product of the seed of God? Again, we still don't know. Do they mean that Jesus Christ is some kind of mystical or quasi-imaginary concept that they use to hang some of their own ideas upon, as if to say, well, this is one way in which I try and work out whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong? Again, we still don't know. Do they mean that Jesus Christ is a concept that they use in meditation for the purposes of doing something psychological to their own minds? Again, we still don't know. These are all different meanings for the same words, I believe in Jesus Christ, for instance. What precisely are the beliefs? I mean, obviously if we talk about the concept of God, that's even more peculiar. There's obviously people who, in inverted commas, believe in Bible literalism and go purely by the words of the book and feel that the whole of Genesis is completely and utterly legitimate and solid and hard and fast facts. But that's only one way of looking at the whole thing. Now, God is obviously portrayed in a certain way, but is he believed in that way? Is the concept of God something which people say actually exists? Is the idea of God something that people do not believe exists, but they say to themselves, well, if that God-type creature does actually exist, then am I behaving appropriately? Am I behaving inappropriately? If this thing does know what's in my heart, do I have the right emotions towards somebody else that is appropriate? And if my attitude or my points of view or my emotions towards someone else are somehow inappropriate, then what personally am I going to do to try and find a way of putting that back into balance or perspective? And that's someone who doesn't believe in God as in existing, but says they believe in God as a concept which helps them to try and work out basically what's right and what's wrong. Which one of these is true? Basically none of them, because what I'm discussing in this video is belief and or opinion. There's a wide variety of different types of belief, and if someone says, as I've just pointed out, they believe in the Bible, they believe in Jesus Christ, or they believe in God, those phrases either have too many meanings or they mean absolutely nothing, and as a result, they are a straw man argument in their own right, and so is any attack which is laid upon them. Now, let's think about other things about belief. There's schemas and there's paradigms. I don't know whether you've heard those words before, but when I was being a good little wannabe pagan and I was hanging out in pagan circles, what I used to do is listen to people speak and try and work out what the meanings of their words were, what they were actually trying to say, what their arguments were, and try and take things from there. And the idea of like a paradigm shift was always being thrown my way. Like, you take a point of view, you experiment with it, and if it doesn't actually work or provide you with the benefits that you're after, you change it or you throw it away. And essentially as a result of that, you can go through a number of different paradigms or points of view until you reach a level whereby you feel comfortable, you feel happy, or indeed whatever it is you're trying to achieve actually starts, in inverted commas, working for you. Okay? Trying to understand that a person is going through paradigm shifts with the passage of time gives you an understanding that a person's point of view, opinion, and belief is changing with the passage of time. And to be quite honest, no one's belief stays 110% solid and stable. Let's take the idea of someone saying that they are a Christian. Again, what does that mean? As I've already pointed out, the whole idea of God is something which is rather vague. The whole idea of Jesus Christ is again rather vague. I can't turn around to you and say I believe in Jesus Christ and for you to understand precisely what I'm talking about. It's not possible. Same as if I was to tell you I believe in the Bible, I believe in God. It's not possible. So if I was to turn around to you hypothetically and say to you, I am a Christian, taking into account that the concept of God, the concept of Jesus Christ, the concept of the Bible are all rather difficult to precisely pin down, is it actually appropriate for anybody to attack this hypothetical stance that I am a Christian? The bottom line is no, it is not possible, because a person can still be a Christian and regard themselves as a Christian, but have no belief in the objective existence of God, no belief that the Bible is the literal word of God, alright, and no belief that Jesus Christ really was the product of some variety of adulterous relationship between God and a woman who happens to have a rather nice husband called Joseph. These are things that we have to take into account. As a result of me explaining this to you, it should become apparent that a religion is either much more or much less than the sum of its individual parts. Let's again talk about Christianity just as an example. It's a convenient religion because it's absolutely everywhere, okay? What would an atheistic Christian think? Alright? They may think, well, I know that evolution is true. I know that the Big Bang happened. I know that abiogenesis is real. But this book has some cultural importance. It did to my parents. The contents in it is of historical importance, or indeed of literary historical importance, if not actual historical importance. The stories in it, well, there's something interesting there to a certain degree. Maybe I can identify with some aspects of what is actually inside the book, but essentially, do I actually have to consider Jesus Christ to be real? No, I don't. But the bottom line is maybe there's some stuff in here which I could actually relate to and treat in a manner which is more self-developmental orientated, or indeed introspection orientated, rather than, of course, that of just straightforward blind belief. And yes, I have heard that there are such things as atheist Christians out there in the world. So my point here is, and remember that what this video has done has just scratched the surface of a massive iceberg, okay? What I've pointed out to you is that the term belief, when applied to a concept which you might already be familiar with, namely that of the Bible and that of Christianity and that of Jesus Christ and that of God, is vague. That is just a very, 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 very brief overview. I do hope it's given you opportunity for thought. Bye for now.